improve them. So we can't really improve the client satisfaction for what the students are getting because we're spending too much time doing sales calls.
Got it. And while we're speaking about the programs right now, do you mind? Obviously I've gone through your website. The copy on it, by the way, is it's amazing. It's good. It looks like you guys have a very sophisticated funnel built in here. And then is that your responsibility? Is that something that you've done, Charlie? I mean, that's what you're the marketing director.
Yeah, I'm the marketing director, but I have a team. My team puts that in place according to sort of my vision and Sam's vision, and then I'm, like I said, I'm still on those sales calls, but we have a good team. We have a solid team.
Okay, that's good to know. And so you mentioned about you've got your different courses and products as well too. What's the most common one that's selling right now?
We've got something called the Platinum program.
Yes.
Basically, just how are you going to get top scores on the SATs?
That's right. Yeah, the UCATs, right?
Yep.
Got it. I see. And even with those scores, how many of those calls that you're taking, how many of those are you actually converting? You said about 40-50%?
For the Platinum program, it's a bit lower. I think it's about 20% because we've got like 5 other programs too.
Right. Okay. And
the most common one would be the crash course because it's it's sort of entry level to our to our company, I suppose, to our programs. Yeah.
And then do you have anyone that's following up with the people that buy the crash course or do you have an email sequence? Are you upselling them or reaching out to them?
That's a good question. So we kind of do like marketing campaigns every quarter to try to upsell those students. So we have a team that writes the emails and then pushes it out to students.
I see. Okay, interesting. So let's just say hypothetically, I'll go through in a few minutes here. I'll even show you some some visual slides. I'm a visual person as well too. I think it'll help you to follow along with us. But even if I can't show you that, let me just paint a picture for you. Let's just say we're able to help you out with some closes. How many closes were you thinking of having? What would it take to help get you and Sam off the phones?
Well, again, I mean, depends on how much they cost. I don't really know how the hiring process works, but I think two, just to replace myself and Sam, 2 would be good.
Got it. And your Sam and yourself right now, how are you paying yourselves? Are you, I'm assuming as stakeholders of the company, you're not really paying yourself.
No, I mean I guess you could say we're just taking from the profits, right? I mean, we get a salary too, but we don't really take commission to that. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever used any other external sales, or have you ever hired anyone internally to work for your sales?
You know what? About like I said, we started this company about 2 years ago, but during our first year, we did have one guy. He was actually one of our friends from university, right? He was sort of the sales guy. And it was great, but then he actually went on to do other things in his life. So we kind of lost a good salesperson. And then after that, it's been sort of just like we've hired some people, some sales reps in between, but they didn't really turn out too well. So, the most reliable is just me and Sam, right? Sam and myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I guess with the other guy left, I mean, what happened? I mean, you guys had to stop doing all your work and then you guys had to take the calls or
so we tried a combination. So first when he left, we actually prepped for it. So we actually put a couple of job posts on like Indeed, right, or like Monster.com, and then we found another lady actually, and she was good for a while, but then we realized she was actually like she was inconsistent. Some days she showed up, some days she felt like I don't know, like she had an off day or a bad day.
Right.
It basically just ended up being myself taking those calls.
Right.
When she was unavailable. So I had to do most of her work anyways.
Wow. And so every time that happens, it also distracts you from doing your work and focusing on actual strategy or the marketing side.
Yeah. And because I am the marketing director, I also am responsible for bringing revenue, right?
Yes.
So I feel that need to take those sales calls to convert.
Yeah, but it would be better if you could scale a team, I'm assuming, right? So that you can actually focus more on the strategy and the thinking rather than having to be in the trenches taking the calls, right? It's nice to get the feedback yourself, but I'm sure if you could have a team, that would make your life a lot easier, right?
Right. I mean, like what I want to do really, that's with my actual role, right? Is actually I want to plan out, I want to work more with so we work with ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So we've got a ClickFunnels account. Our funnels on ClickFunnels, but I want to actually spend more time learning more, different kinds of funnels, different kind of offers, right? I want to actually have that time to think, to map that out, and to actually execute and implement that. Yeah. Because like I said, our funnel is okay, our site's okay, but I don't think it's that great. I want to actually improve that. I just don't have time to do so.
Right, right. And if you got your time back, how much time would you need, to do that? What would that mean for the business?
I'm thinking of going to, so like Russ, Russell Brunson, right?
Yes.
I'm thinking of going to Russell, one of Russell's courses to do his mastermind, and I think that's going to take me about 3 months to pick up some new ideas and implement.
And it's gonna be difficult if you have to be the guy taking the calls as well.
Well, right now I can, right? I've always wanted to join Russell's mastermind. I just don't have to. Like, it just wasn't worth the investment because I wasn't able to. I didn't have time for that.
Okay, I see. Well, so hypothetically, I mean, if we were able to, I guess, set up a team, 1 or 2 closers, what would your expectations be?
To be very frank, I mean, I did some research myself and I looked at closes.com, and I've heard of Dan Locke and yourself, right? And I know Dan, I think the media calls him the king of high ticket sales. So I do have an expectation that, if he's the king of high ticket sales, then the sales reps, they should be fairly, I would say, I think the word good is very subjective, but they should be fairly effective. Let's put it that way at their work, right? So, if
it's a fair assumption. So maybe for a second here, if you don't mind, with your permission, let me give you a little bit of a breakdown of how the closes.com program came about. Yep. And then it should help you as well understand. And along the way, I'll be asking you some questions as well, right? So okay. Take a look at and now for those on the role play here, guys, I would be showing a bit of my slide deck. We don't depend on the slide deck, but I use it as a tool or as a prop. Right. So
Des, do you have the slide deck?
I do. Do you want me to use it?
You guys wouldn't want to see the slide deck, would you?
No,
you wouldn't want to see any of that.
They don't want to see proprietary information.
No one would be interested in that at all, right?
All right, so let's do it.
But don't show the whole thing because that would take a long time.
Yes, I won't show the whole thing.
Show bit. So I would pause my share.
Yes, I'm going to take over the screen.
You could share. Okay.
Yes.
Actually, we have never, ever done this before.
We have never done it
in
before.
any of the season. Isn't it true? Come on, my graduates.
They're lucky. They're lucky. Wow. This is exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Unless you're on my team, you've never seen. No, not even on my team. Only if you're in BizDev. Then
yes.
You see.
That's correct.
This is pretty proprietary stuff. So here we go.
Okay. So Joel, I'm gonna thumb through some of the. Sorry, Charlie, I'm gonna thumb through some of these the slides here. It'll just help explain things, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously keep it confidential what I'm showing you, right? This is mainly for business owners like yourself, help you to understand the model. You're not dealing with just an outsourced company. You could hire freelance closers out there. I'm sure we've trained over 7,000 plus closers around the world. So very quickly, in case you did not know, our founder, our mentor, the person who taught pretty much all the closers is Dan Locke. And have you seen his social media? Have you seen some of his ads?
Sam and I actually have followed because like I said, we speak to Russell quite a bit. So Russell speaks highly of Dan.
Yeah. Dan and Russell are good friends. That's correct. Yep. So just a bit about the back history, right? About 4 or 5 years ago when Dan engaged in the, in mentoring, he started to really expand on his mentoring. One of the things he did was he doubled down on his social media. And I'm speaking to you, I mean, you're a marketing person, so you understand it can be very difficult to grow things organically as well as also with paid traffic, right? Yep. So we don't do this to boast, but what I'm trying to say is that he's had a lot of reach, right? So you can see here, it went from 10,000 subscribers to 2 million subscribers. And even if you look at the date that we took this is in December, it's a lot more now. Same with the Instagram, same with the Facebook. So there's a lot of reach. He has a lot of influence. And our team, it's all about the team and the ecosystems that Dan builds, right? He doesn't just do this just for his own ego. He's actually building a team. So currently right now, our team, we have about 60 full-time and part-time team members and entrepreneurs. You'll notice that we don't call ourselves employees because all of us were pretty much either business owners or entrepreneurs, and we all channeled our energies, came together under one roof to work with Dan Locke, right? And so that's why we built the team. And at any given time, usually we have around about 120 of our top closers working with our internal team or working on business accounts, and these are the top closers that we've filtered through the process. So when you were asking me just now about, the quality of the closers and Dan being a high-ticket closer, I want to make sure I manage your expectations correctly. Is that fair with you?
Right. Okay. I did have a question though.
Sure. Go ahead.
You were saying that, so you guys have closers? Like, is this closers, like, what do you mean? Like, is it within your company or is it, so like, would we be getting sales reps from your within? Is that
So
what you mean?
that's a good question. I'll get to that slide in just a second. Let me explain. I'll take you through a little bit more of the journey here.
Okay.
So I want you to understand that Dan has multiple companies, right? We've had, from a marketer standpoint, we've had info products that we've trained thousands of closers in high income skills. That's over here, the B2C world, right? We elevate financial confidence globally by equipping individuals with high income skills. So high income skills can include closing, copywriting, speaking on stage, investing, consulting. There's many types of high income skills. The one that you're probably associating right now with are the high income skills of closing. Okay. On the B2B side, we actually help companies to scale their business strategically and sustainably. So everything that we're doing here, hypothetically, if we're going to work together, Charlie, we're going to be working together like partners. We're here to help you scale. We're not here just to do a transaction. I'm not here just to introduce you to a couple of closers. We're going to be diving deep into your business to see how we can actually increase your revenues, strengthen the relationship between the sales team and the marketing team. When you create that synergy, that's marketing together, that's when we create this production line and you're getting the revenues coming in over and over and over again. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So quickly, I'm just going to move through here, a couple more slides here. Ecosystem here, again, this is key for you to understand, right? That's the high ticket closer program that we've got here. We've had the high income copywriter programs. And of course, we've got all the other companies that sit under the Danlock organization, the holdings company. These things feed into the closers.com and the copywriters.com. Now it's written pretty small here. You'll see these 6 capitals, and I'll just quickly slide over to the next slide here. That's these 6 capitals. So you gotta understand, Dan is a disruptor. He's a visionary, and as he builds the company, he always looks at everything through these 6 lenses, right? So the 6 lenses: the social capital, human capital. I'm not gonna go into all the details here, but just think of it as the human capital, right? So we trained over 7,000 closers, and we use that, even though that's a front end program. Closers get, people that come through that, the students come through that, they get benefits. Many of them go out there into the real world, business owners, employees, and they get great results. On the other hand, though, we use that as a filter system to find the very best closers. Those that want to work with us in the closers.com, we help to bring them into the fold. We train them. We put them through a lot of different tests. That's how we filter down to the very best closers. And those are the ones, if we should work together, we will be the ones that will pick from that pool to then select them for your team. Does that make sense?
Okay, so just to understand, you guys have like a sales training program, correct?
And that's the high ticket closer program. That's correct.
Okay, the high ticket closer program, and you're saying from that pool you pick the best to work with different businesses, correct?
Let me just fast forward here. It seems like you're chomping at a bit just to get to this. Does this visual help you out?
What, 7,000?
Let me explain. So we've trained about 7,000 students over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's going to be attrition. There's going to be all kinds of things, bad apples, people that go off to think that they can compete with us. Some people that just business owners, some people that didn't pay attention, some people that never showed up, maybe shiny ball syndrome. What we've noticed historically is that from the 7,000, 2,000 will actually continue with us in the ongoing program. These are the serious students. These are the ones that actually want to really double down on their skills.
Okay.
In the upper level, right? This is what we call the inner circle. They continue their training. They get training twice a month. They engage and they learn more advanced skills. They have a lot more Discord. There's a lot more test points and touch points for us to be able to see who are the top closers. From that, there's an 80-20 rule, okay? In general, even from that, we'll filter down that 80-20 rule. So about 500 of them are what we consider closer ready. The rest of them, maybe they're new, maybe they need more practice, maybe they're there for extra additional mentorship, but about 500 of them are really closer ready. These are the ones that are hand raisers. We've tested them out. We can actually vet them and we know that they have the abilities to close. Now, some of them might close in different niches. So, not all of them are going to be able to close for your product. We even narrow down even more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So should we work together, should we go together, I will be selecting from this pool of closers here. These are going to be our first go-to. Sometimes we find some individuals down here from time to time, but in general, the ones that have really been with us long enough that we can see and we have the facts and the results, they come from here. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So
I'm just going to quickly thumb back here. Again, we talked about the social capitals, these things may not seem important to you. You understand that we've got this pool of closers that we pick from. I want you to take a look at this, right? Do you see the number on the bottom of the screen here? This $34 billion. Seems like a pretty big number, right?
I mean, it is a big number. Yeah,
And historically, our company has, we trained a lot of closers, and we tried our very best to track every time they registered a sale. In our company, we call it a boom. In our community, when someone gets a sale, they'll chime in and they'll put in the Facebook group, or they'll make a post and they'll say boom, and they'll normally take a screenshot of what they've accomplished. So we'll usually ask them to verify that, to get some proof that they've actually done it, and we've tallied up what they've actually done. And believe it or not, our closers over the last 2.5 years, have actually done about $34 billion in revenue.
Okay. So that's what they close for like different businesses, right?
For different businesses. And, I must admit, some of these are big deals that are done through banks or even national deals. But here's the important part. You're a business owner as well too, right?
Yeah, I see.
It was a double-edged sword. It was a double-edged sword. We didn't actually monetize from that. The closers were doing that, and some of the closers, most of them were doing good things. But we had no control of that. So in 2019, Dan drew a line in the sand. He said, hey, look, you guys are welcome. You go through the course, you're trained, you're welcome to do closing on your own. If you like, you want to apply it to your business, or maybe you like to offer your services on your own. On the other hand, though, there's a core group of us in closes.com where we brought all our services together. We pool our best practices, our intrinsic knowledge, structural capital, technological capital, intellectual capital, and we structured a deal together. So closes.com structures the deal, and we're not a franchise, but the members that are part of this work within that closes.com structure. We help companies with our know-how to scale a lot faster. So the closes there have a higher opportunity and a better chance of actually hitting success. Those are the 500 closes I was showing you there earlier about the closes ready. They are the ones that work there, and we work like a PayPal model. So for every transaction, we take a small percentage off the top. The closers get a good percentage. They're happy. They're scaling. You are making the bigger piece of the pie because you're the business owner. You're having the money that you can then reinvest back into your marketing dollars. So if you can get a good ROAS, if you're getting a good return on investment, return on your ad spend, you can put it back in to channel and get more leads, which then goes to the closers. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay. That makes sense.
So I'm just going to skip through a couple of these. You saw some of the testimonials. I'm sure you've seen that. This is something that's important here, okay? You let me know, you read along with me here, right? The advantage number one, right? So one of the key things that when we work with you, we're in the business of scaling, okay? I'm not in the business of outsourcing. So if you're not interested in scaling, then maybe this is not a good fit. But if you actually want to scale, you want to have the closes there so you can put more marketing dollars, you can drive more leads. If we can generate more revenue, you're willing to put it back into the business and reinvest, then we've got something that we can work on together, okay? So we help you get all the best selected for you so you don't have to spend time. Have you spent time already looking for closers?
Well, yeah, like I said, we've done the past year and the first part of the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So we've tried that, right, on Indeed and Monster. It wasn't that great.
And it cost you time, and you probably had to train them, and even if they didn't work out or they left you, you had to do it all yourself. Is that correct?
Yep. Well, yeah, exactly. That's right.
So if you're working with us, this is one of the advantages. We do all of that for you. Second, you never have to train or manage the closing team. We do that for you. So we have a team leader, a pod leader with at least a minimum of 2 below the pod leader, up to a maximum of 8 on the team, right? And because, we know that a leader can manage about 7 to 8 people, managing with bandwidth, being able to check their calls, listen to their calls, coach them. So in general, a pod can be 1 leader with 2 closers. And then you get to invest your time back on things that you find are important for yourself. Okay, so this is the area where you get your time back. And the way we work is on an onboarding fee. There's a one-time onboarding fee, and our closers earn commissions only. So you're not paying for any, rental space for the office. You're not paying for equipment. You're not paying for any medical benefits or anything like that. The closers work on commissions only. Is that making sense?
Okay, but there's an onboarding fee, and then there's the commission, but there's no like other recurring costs besides commission.
There is no other recurring cost. If your business scales so much that you have to add an extra pod at that time, then there is another smaller onboarding fee. But that onboarding fee goes to the CSMs, it goes to the managers, the people that don't make commissions. These are the managers that are there to help set up the production line. They're there to help get things in place. And it's normally within a 30, 60, 90 days. Until that production line is up and running and that money is flowing, don't forget, we eat last, right? Our company eats last. You have to get sales first. The closers need to get commissions. And only after that's in place, then we make money. So it's in our best interest to help you get up and running, as soon as possible. But I want to manage your expectations. It may take more than 90 days. Are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, right? Given, training and obviously getting to gel and getting to know the company. Do you mind sharing what the onboarding fee would look like?
The onboarding fee is $10,000.
Okay, 10K, and then I pay commissions, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so how do we negotiate commissions? Is it already fixed, or how does that work?
So your price points are under $10,000, right?
Yeah, we've got a 2K. Well, like you're talking about like our programs, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
I think our highest is 7.5,
Yeah.
$7,500. Yeah.
So we have a sliding scale, and usually anything that any program that is under $10,000 is 25%. Now I'll explain that in a second, okay?
5% of
Are you a numbers guy?
Okay,
Yeah, you're a numbers guy, right? Okay, so let me show you this formula here. You're gonna work with me on this one, okay? So do you understand this number here, 8,333? Do you know why that's important?
No, I mean, I think I know. Is it for how much the sales rep wants to make?
It's a six-figure income, right?
Yeah. Okay.
If you can help the rep, one of our core values obviously is client success. So we want to help you get success, but we also want to help the closers also have success. When you have a good closer, a really good closer, they are like gold. You want to keep them on your team. We've invested time to train them, get them to understand your system. They understand the common objections. They know how to deal with your clients. They know how to have your clients stick. You don't want them jumping off and going after another contract. So what we found, okay, and this is just what we've noticed in the top 500 closers there's a common pattern about these closers. All of them would like to make a minimum of a six-figure income. And these days six-figure income is really not a lot, is it?
I mean, I think it's reasonable, right? Yeah.
Right.
And
do you know why?
Why do they want to make a six-figure income?
Well, many of these top closers, many of them, not all of them, but they all came from a professional background, or they had some experience in that background. So we do have closers that are unicorns that are not exactly like that, but most of them are usually have had a taste of a six-figure income. When they came through our HTC program, many of them that rose to the top very quickly, right? It's usually because they had some experience or they learned very quickly and they were able to make a six-figure income. So they want to be able to sustain that without having to put in an 80-hour work week, at a corporate job or as a brick and mortar business owner. They would rather be working from the comfort of their home, remotely, taking about 5, 6, 7 calls per day, 5 days a week. And if they can even see the light that they can make a six-figure income, you will keep some of the best closers on your team. Now, let me ask you a question. Would it be beneficial for your company to have a stable group of closers closing for you day in, day out, converting at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want any attrition and having to keep switching people in and out, right?
So it's a simple mathematical formula. I'm here to work out your margins, and I'm not here to gouge your business. So let's do it together. If you take your average, what's your average price point of your product?
Let's say 7,500. Oh, the average would be 5K.
That's your up one. That's right. So take 5K. And how many appointments are you getting per week right now?
On average or just on the 5K?
Just number of appointments on average.
Let's say 20.
20. Okay. So you plug that number in. You do the math here. Okay. So you plug your 20 in. And what's your average show up rate right now?
Okay. In a percentage, it'd be about like when you say show up, it'd be whoever shows up on the call, right?
That's right. So you have bookings, and then you have people that opt in, then you have bookings, and then you have actual show up rate. What's your show up rate?
Okay, so people that show up on the call, maybe 60%.
60% is not too bad. Okay, so then now the conversion, yourself and Sam, you said Sam was converting at about 50%.
We could say 40%. I think that's fair.
So you guys understand your business. Now, would it be reasonable to say, well, 40% is a little bit high? Would it be, I want to be pragmatic here. What if the closers were able to even just do 20%? Initially, they're brand new, right?
Yeah, but we would want them to increase that conversion.
Of course. But let me ask you, would it be fair if you were to work at a new company within the first 3 months and the boss said to you that you needed to get 40% right out the bat? Would that be something reasonable? Or is it normal in any company with any employee to at least have a 90-day probationary period?
Yeah, I mean, I think within the first 90, it's reasonable. I mean, I would say, if we get top performers, they would obviously want to make more money so they could close at higher conversion rates too.
Of course, but let's just be pragmatic here. I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver than to overpromise and underdeliver. So I want to manage your expectations, right? I'm purposely, if you notice here, what I'm doing here, Charlie, is I'm actually making sure that I manage your expectations. Now, let's just say our closers come in and they start doing 40%. Fantastic, great, right? You'd be happy. So I don't want you to, if I said 40 and they were only doing 30 or 20, and then you'd say, well, Desmond, you didn't keep your word. So I want to make sure that I'm actually pulling back here. When they get started in the first 90 days, it's going to take some time. They need to learn your system. They need to ramp up. They need to start tweaking. That's what the manager is there for, to make sure we observe how they're closing and optimize their process. Can we agree with that? Yep. Okay. So now, again, the whole purpose of this is to calculate the numbers. So let's not get too caught up in the minutia. Let's focus on the calculation here. So when you've done all this stuff, you put it all together. Now we talk about the percentage. If that percentage is too low and it doesn't spit out a number that's even relatively close to this, I'm not trying to gouge your margins. I'm just being very pragmatic here with you. I'm just saying, look, we need to adjust something. One of these factors needs to give. Maybe your price point needs to increase. Maybe we need to adjust the percentage, after we've taken our top off, percentage off the top. Whatever percentage is left for the closers, is that even over a 6-month, even 12-month period? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel that they may potentially earn this 8,333? If the answer is no, then probably we may not be able to work on this together. We have to try to get that number at a sweet spot. I'm here to work with you. You're the marketing director. What's your marketing budget? How much margins do you have? So this is something, whenever you come to me and you ask me, Desmond, what's that percentage? We've actually measured out with hundreds of companies, what we've worked with. On average, if it's something that's under $10,000, if you're averaging about 45, 50 bookings per week, then sweet spot is around about 25%.
Okay. Let me think, because I remember the last person that we hired, I think, we gave them a little base, and then we gave them like a variable comp. So I think the lady, we paid her 10%, but we also gave her like a base. So you're saying this is just pure commission, right?
It's pure commission, yeah. You can hire freelance closers. You can get 10%, 15%. Heck, you can do whatever you want, right? Again, you're going back to dealing with a freelancer and an individual. You're not dealing with a team. You're not dealing with intrinsic knowledge. You're not dealing with a team that is going to be working with you as an extension of your business. If you want to put in your time, if you want to save that 10% and put in more time of your own, that's up to you.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so it really comes down to this. I mean, pretty much, I'm just going to wrap it up here, right? I'm just looking at the time here. I want to make sure that we're respectful of our time. Right now, we're at the stage here. We're just giving you what we call the maximum velocity interview. And if, let's just say hypothetically, okay, Charlie, money's not an option. The onboarding fee, you guys are able to take care of that. You agree on the percentage. This still doesn't mean we're going to be working together. Even if you took care of the onboarding fee, we still have another stage called the scalable audit. So we do have another team that's going to actually, and I think you're pretty sophisticated from what I can see here, but we didn't have enough time to drill in and see really the number of leads that you're getting, the conversion rates, take a look at some of that stuff. So there is a preliminary step that we do have there. Now, if that does not go through, I just want to manage your expectations. I'll probably even refund you your 10,000 and just say, hey, look, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to set up a team for you, Charlie. Are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah. I think I think the 10K is fine. It's just I want to run some numbers, math on the commission, right? I probably after this call I would kind of have a chat with Sam, and the 10K is fine. That's no problem. And I think the step next is also very, very fair. The scalability, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to dig in a little bit deeper. It's going to help the CSM and the leader to know more about the kind of leads that are coming in preparation for them to get the training set up. Okay, so let me just quickly speed through here a bit. Let's just say all of that's taken care of, right? And this could take anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks, depends on, we'll be sending you a boilerplate contract, which is, the agreement for the closer agreement. You might need to review that. There's a little bit of back and forth. Then we start to do what's called the data matching process. Now, we won't start any of this until these steps are verified. And we do a thorough job. So let me ask you, how urgent is it for you to get these closes set up?
I would say the sooner the better, because like I said, we could do a lot with getting our time back. I've got a lot of things on my plate.
What do you mean by sooner?
Like if we find the right fit and a good rep, we would definitely want to have them onboarded and started as soon as possible.
And if we're able to do that, what would that mean for you and Sam?
You mean if we get someone great?
When we won, right? We're talking a pod, a leader and 2 closes here, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that'd be fantastic, right? If they're right fit and they gel with the team and they could ramp up, like you said, in 90 days, I think that would be fantastic.
Okay. And that will help you buy back your time. Is that correct?
Yep, 100%.
Okay. I want to make sure that we go, I'm just addressing all these things here, okay? Keep in mind, even when they do start, the team is selected, the team leader is gonna want to work with you, Charlie. I'm thinking you're being the managing director for the marketing side of things. They're gonna set up a regular cadence, like a weekly marketing meeting, where as adults, we're gonna come together, we're gonna talk about the number of leads coming in, the lead scores, we're gonna measure those things. This is how professionally we run things, okay? And if we can do that, then the closers are gonna also, the closer leader is gonna commit to saying, hey, if you can generate those number of bookings and appointments for us, we're gonna work to make sure to maintain that the show up rate is at that 60%, or even work on increasing the show up rate. And we're gonna work to hit that first milestone, that initial milestone, let's just say 30% conversion for now. And then once they hit that, naturally over the 30, 60, 90 days, they're gonna work towards getting it up to that 40% or even higher. Is that fair for you?
Yeah, I think that's fair. We know whatever gets results for sure. Yep.
Then we go through a 360 pre-deployment training. And this training here, this is the one part I'm going to ask you for, and you and Sam, to probably just invest a bit of your time. Mm-hmm. And the reason for this, let me explain why. Because I'm sure you could delegate it all to us and we can take care of it. But what we've noticed is that when a business owner like yourself or Sam, who's actually been on the phones, you have the most experience. If you invest just a little bit of time, we're going to document that process of you training the closers so they can hear from the horse's mouth how you guys handle it, how you guys get your 40%, 50% conversions. And they're going to mimic some of that process and even modify or even make it a little bit better, improve it with your permission. But in the initial stages, we'll document it. And then that way, even if we rotate closers out, we have a documented process. Whether or not you work with us a year from now, you will still get to keep all that training and documented process. Do you think that could be valuable to you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That would be very valuable. We love that.
Great. And then after we've done all of this, then we go to what we call launch. So launch is literally when your team, the marketing team, is driving actual bookings to the closers. They're taking actual calls, and the work just gets started from that point. Now, from this part, you start to get your time back, and the closers and the closing leaders start to work together. They listen to the calls. They're listening for quality assurance, as well as also they're checking to see how we can improve the process. They're taking weekly notes. They're communicating it to you. They're giving you a feedback loop. Would that be valuable to you for the closers to give you feedback on the lead quality and what's happening in the field?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, we also, from our end, from our company standpoint, we definitely want to hold them accountable too. So I think this is great.
Okay, so that's it. I'm pretty much done here, Charlie. At this point here, quite frankly, you've got the information. I think if you need to crunch your numbers, how much time would that take? What do you need? What do you need from my side?
I'm meeting Sam tomorrow actually in person. So you guys said 25%, right?
So 25% for any product that's under 10,000. That's correct.
Yeah. So let me. I have to. Like I said, I want to project that with those numbers with Sam. If he thinks it's great, I think it's good because understand, right? We also have other costs of doing business, right? We've got our marketing budget, we've got our staff salaries and all that. So, but once we run that, I think we should be set. Are you guys negotiable on that commission, or is it like a fixed 25%?
Well, what do you mean by negotiable? What were you thinking?
If for some reason, right, we could do like a lower percentage, would that be okay, or would it not be okay?
What do you think about? Again, like I said, I'm here to help you out.
I need to run the numbers here, but I'm just curious whether it was like fixed. If it's fixed, then I know.
Throw me a number. We are flexible. Like I said, we are a partnership here, right? There's no point in us gouging and making it where it's not feasible for you. But
right, and we also want the closers we want the sales reps to make a good income too, right? But it's just
that's right. You want to feed them because these guys are going to bring in your sales, right? You want to.
Yeah, but from
you're putting a lot of marketing dollars into your marketing efforts. That's your traffic with the conversions. So let's get that production line up and running where both sides are making enough profit. There's enough margins so that no one's hurting. And if that's a fair thing, then you tell me, do you want to move forward or not?
Yeah. So like I was saying, from a business point, then we also have to consider our cost, our cost for actually doing our business. So I think once we run those numbers with Sam, I could give you a better answer. The good thing though is that we don't have to worry about like a salary, right?
That's
so we don't
correct.
have to worry about salary. So I think that's great.
Yep.
So like I said, let me talk to Sam and then.
What else don't you have to worry about? You don't have to worry about salary. What else don't you have to worry about? What are the things that you think that we're
if you guys are taking care of the training and the checks and stuff like that, that'd be
training,
good.
Checks, yep.
Yep.
What else?
That'll be good.
What if we have a bad closer? What if a closer gets sick or something happens?
Oh yeah, that was actually my question actually. So if you guys say we do this, right, and it's so with the conversion rates, how does it work with like if a closer isn't performing? What do you guys do in that situation?
So it's case by case situations, but in general, obviously there's regular touch points. That's why there's a leader there that's monitoring the closer's performance. That's why we have that regular, very transparent marketing meeting between your team and the closing teams, and we're reporting on the performance. And we're not going to wait 30 days before we remove a closer. If someone's not performing, and this is key here, okay? Pay attention, Charlie, because even if we don't work together, you'll still go away with some value here. You'll learn how to structure a team. You never ever want to just have one closer. Do you know why?
Because they maybe they get lazy, or they just do things their own way and have no competition.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly. No competition. So if you have 2 or 3 closers, even if they're not fully booked up, it creates a little bit of friendly competition, and you can always top grade from that. So you have closer A, B, and C.
Okay.
Let's just say very quickly, we're monitoring them on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. The results will start to show very, very quickly who is lagging behind. Let's just say it's closer C. Closer C is not doing very well. So the leader top grades and says, okay, we're going to replace closer C and do some coaching with closer C. We're going to take you off the rotators. We're going to put a closer D in there. Now closer D comes in, and guess what? Closer D is actually a superstar, and closer D very quickly picks things up, puts actually pressure on closer A and B. What do you think happens to closer A and B now?
Yeah, they definitely want to perform even better.
Would that benefit your business?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now you've got 3 great closers. And maybe, now these 3 great closers are bringing lots of sales. And because of that extra revenue that's coming in, you have extra marketing budgets. You can scale up on your daily ad spend, which then generates more leads. Oh, wait a minute. Now we need to add a 4th closer. So now we add closer E. And closer E comes in, and closer E is kind of average. Okay, so then maybe we rotate closer E out, maybe put closer F in now. Do you see how we have that capacity to do that, and it doesn't cost you any time at all?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's great. So just to confirm, right, you guys pick the closers based on, like, is it based on, I guess the industry, based on their performance, all that, right? You guys include all that.
We have a 21 data point, so there's a lot of different things that we select the closers on, and you'll get to meet them as well too if you like.
Right, because I just want to make sure we get someone who's like in the education industry at the very least, right? Right, not someone.
Why did you think we'd be picking a closer that's completely different to your industry?
Don't know. I mean, I don't know how you guys gauge the performance and things like that. So
do you think we'd be successful if we put closers that are not a good match for your industry?
I mean, if you train them well enough, they might be.
Come on,
probably not,
Charlie.
Right?
Just go back and listen to the question you just asked me there. Do you think we would be successful at closing if we mismatch closers with a client?
So that was my question. I don't know how you guys actually match closers with clients. Like,
let's just say hypothetically we mismatch the client with the closer with you. What would that mean to you?
Yeah, but like mismatch what way? Like, mismatch to me means like someone that can't close.
We put a closer that can't close. Yes, we do the worst.
That would be horrible. Then I mean that would be horrible. Not trained at closing. Yeah, but I'm asking more of like for
you wouldn't want to work with us if we're horrible, right?
Right, but I'm saying for the educational space though, then you guys are saying you guys have closers in that field. Is that correct?
We do have from the pool, and as we go ahead with this, I will start to search the database. I'm pretty sure we do have closers because I do know that we have other clients that do similar items like what you do. And if we don't have it, we won't be moving forward. You'll be getting your refund on your 10,000, and we won't be moving forward. Would that make you feel better?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Okay, I think I got what I need. Thanks for your time, Des.
Charlie, let's say we move forward with this. Let's say you find out from Sam. Sam says, hey, the percentages. Okay, to make your life easier, say Sam says, no, we can't do 25%. You come back to me and you say, Desmond, we need to do what? I don't know, 20%. And I say, okay, well, let's do 20% if it helps you out. And we go ahead at that point. Is there going to be anything else? Are you going to ask me any other questions? Is there any other things that you need to get cleared up, or?
No, I think that thing is just a commission for me. From my point, at least, it's just a commission. I don't know what questions Sam might have, but I think for me, at least, that's it.
Okay. And you're not going to give me any sort of, like 1 or 2 days later, you're going to not reply and send me an email, because I'm not emotionally attached, right? So if you don't do business, that's fine with us. Just let me know. Just say, hey, look, the numbers don't match up. We don't have the budget for it. Just be very direct and open with me.
Yeah, for sure. Of course.
Yep. And of course, if you have another question, we need to get back on a call with Sam, then we'll just do that. But what we don't want to do is keep asking 101 questions and not moving forward, because you're losing money every day that you're not doing this, right? You're spending more time on the phones. I mean, hey, I'm okay on our side, but if you're happy and you're okay getting on the calls and taking those calls and doing it yourself, that's your business, right? But if you want to engage with us, we can move relatively quickly, but we need to have decisive decisions made. And if that's the case, then I'll start to process the paperwork for you, okay?
Yep. So let me speak to Sam and I'll get back to you within the next 48 hours.
48 hours? Okay. So today's Thursday. So 48 hours will be on Saturday?
Yeah, probably by the end of tomorrow, because like I said, I have a meeting with him tomorrow. Okay. So I'll bring up exactly what you guys talked about. He's probably more concerned about the math, to be honest. So it's not going to take us a long time. Once we run out, we have to obviously look at expenditures and things like that. Then that should be a pretty straightforward decision.
Do you think it would be helpful if I jumped on call and help, to do the math with Sam and you, if you're speaking with him? If he's still not sure about it?
Let me talk to him first. I don't really he doesn't really like jumping on different calls. That's kind of why he sends me to kind of do these calls. That makes sense. He actually likes to just listen to me. It's kind of funny, but that's kind of how he works.
Okay, well then, Charlie.
But if he has questions, I'll definitely.
The ball's in your court. Yeah, if you're not able to explain to him the math, then good luck with the phone calls, and hopefully you're able to come up with a solution. Okay. I'm not going to be chasing you. I'm not going to do any of the salesman stuff of following up. I'm going to leave it in your court, right? I'm a man of my word. Hopefully you're a man of your word. So if you say 48 hours, I'll wait for your email and your message back. And then if we have to get on a call to work out the details, we'll do that and we'll work out the logistics. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, Charlie.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Desmond.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Very good. Round of applause for both of them. Boom. First of all, how many of you could see the business acumen that Stephen was referring to being demonstrated during this call, this role play? Okay, that's actually that's a pretty accurate representation of how a B2B, a business-to-business closing call kind of sound like. Now, because of the time limitation, Desmond actually speed up a little bit. Otherwise, this would take an hour, 15 minutes. Because he would go through a few more things, he would slow down, but the speed is just for the class so that we can move forward. Otherwise, this would be a fucking 8-hour class, right? Could you also see some of the vocabularies being used? Scalability, velocity, right? Data-driven, KPI, smart marketing, right? Smart marketing. Those are business language, business vocabularies. When you're talking to a business owner, do you know what you're talking about? Do they know what you are talking about? Very, very key. Now, as I said, what he was just showing you, what Desmond's showing you, that's what we do. I'm not telling you that that's what you should do. I'm just simply teaching you this is what we do. Can you see this is like high level? This is high level closing, right? It's not just what we did last week. When I said we are teaching you a fraction of a fraction, like we're teaching less than 1%, that's what it is. This is negotiation, little bit of consulting / B2B kind of closing. And this is not even super high level, by the way. We are keeping it simple at this level. Those are still pretty basic. And that's what it is. So can you see, and Joe is not being easy. Joe is back and forth, right? Talking about the deal, talking about what the business, and Desmond handled the objection very well, goes back, dig through the pain, all of the above, right? So a lot of good notes taking. And you could also see where the demonstration of our, a little bit about our organization, right? A little bit about telling people what we do and how we do it. It's because for a business owner, and even for you, my students, I mean, most people actually don't have any idea what we do. They see that we have a training program and that's it. They don't understand we are a global organization. We do, and by the way, what you saw is actually a little bit outdated. We actually have more things on the chart now, right? we just finished an acquisition. Yeah, we're just adding another company. So it's part of what we do. But for most people, it's good enough. I don't need to share everything that I do with everybody. Does that make sense? So with that said, let's do a quick 3-minute break. In the meantime, let me share my slides so we can get back on track. So 3-minute. We'll be right back.
All righty. So who learned something from that long role play? It was long, but there was so much knowledge. You definitely want to go check out the replay there. Just wanted to check in one word. Once again, one word, one takeaway. Overwhelmed. Knowledge, amazing, stunning, real, phenomenal. Acumen, amazing, language. As you can see, they were using so many different aspects. I was even learning so much about this and how they were closing. I myself, I'm going to go back and check out the replay as well. Now, Desmond, you were handling objections like, no, tomorrow your tonality was changing and matching him perfectly. Now, when dealing with B2B prospects or dealing with businesses like that, I noticed you bring up more of a Ruby Emerald side. Is it that when you face more B2B personnel or people, they tend to be more Emerald Ruby?
It really depends on the situation. Many of you are typing in the chat, right? So go ahead and type in the chat again. What sort of gemstones do you think Joel or Charlie was playing?
I saw a lot of emeralds.
It's a combination, and I don't know. I don't have the exact stats on this emeralds, but from what we do notice, it seems like a lot of business owners tend to have a lot more Ruby Emerald. We have business owners that are more on the Pearl side, the Sapphires. I just tend to find a lot more of the decision makers. We get, I don't know, 50, 60, 55%, 60, 75% have a lot more of the Ruby Emerald. So maybe it's a trait, or maybe it could be a Pearl person but as a business owner, they've trained themselves to be more Ruby. They trained themselves to be more Emerald. And usually the ones that we get on calls, our filter process through our marketing, by the time they actually get on a call, they're usually business owners that are relatively well put together, or on their way up. So that's what I find. A trait that's quite common. It's either inherent and natural that they have a Ruby Emerald, or that's a learned Ruby Emerald. So be prepared for that. And so for this type of close, for this particular business service, then for close.com, then I adjust usually to that style.
So always on your toes, always adjusting. Now, Joel, when you were back in season 5, I know that you were role-playing like crazy. You were learning nonstop, and some students struggle with certain gems. Did you struggle with a certain gem? And if so, how did you overcome it to master it?
I think that's a great question, because the gem that I've always I think a lot of the closers here actually know, because they've actually helped me with that and coached me on that, right? Is really the pearls, because I don't think naturally I don't think I'm a natural pearl, but I think actually after meeting Sifu, meeting Desmond, right, meeting my wife Jaden, it's really naturally taught me how to be a genuine pearl, not like a fake pearl, but really genuine. And I think understanding, going through life, experiencing more hardships within the past year and a half, it does help. And also great coaching from fellow HTC season members that I had, I think it definitely helped. And the one thing though that I would say that would help really being a pro, and this is something that even I think George, I forgot who it was. Was it George? Maybe George can put in the chat. We had a great game that we played one time during our closers coaching session. We did something where if you had to tell your best friend that his or her mom just passed away, and you were the first person to bring that news, how would you do it with real, genuine emotion? I think that exercise was really helpful. I think a lot of us gained a lot of knowledge and very much expressed our genuine pearl. And I think that was really effective, that exercise.
And what would you say would happen if someone said, you know what, nah, I don't need to learn how to close pearls? What do you think that does to their closing ability? And does it close off a large chunk of the market for them?
I would say, it's interesting. I feel like even the most Ruby prospects have pearl in them if you get deep to that pain and you actually draw that out. And I think the key here is being genuine, being really empathetic, and showing that you care. I think when someone truly feels that pearl does come out. And I would agree with you, Vikas. If we don't have that pearl, then it's hard, right? It's like you just want to go straight for the kill, but it doesn't work that way all the time.
100%. And if you were to give students a piece of advice that would say, okay, here's how to overcome a example, let's say they're struggling with rubies. What would you say is a key piece of advice to help them start to master that and get over that?
With I think every gem is different. Like I think with rubies, it's about having that confidence in knowing. Like I think what Desmond did on that call previously was amazing, right? It was like didn't matter whether he misstepped, or I don't even know what he misstepped, but it didn't matter what he said or what he wanted to say, his intention, where he was very confident with his words. He never had to like go back and defend himself or justify things, right? Even though it was right or wrong, he just said it and he just moved on. And I think part of that comes down to the confidence, not being attached to the sale. I think Desmond did it really, really amazingly.
Mm-hmm. And let's say they're struggling with any gem type in general. What's some general piece of advice we could give them to say, hey, here's how you can overcome any gem type that you're struggling with?
Definitely a lot of practice and a lot of like I would say make a lot of friends with that gem type. Like if you're a ruby, make a lot of emerald, pearl, sapphire friends, and if you're sapphire, vice, you do the same. And then you really go all out. I mean, I think one of the best ways to learn is tell your partner not to go easy on you. Like tell them to be the hardest pearl they can be, the hardest emerald, the hardest sapphire, the hardest ruby, and you're gonna get a lot out of that discussion, that role play.
And really duke it out in the dojo. So again, you've heard it from them themselves. I'm sure we're getting some dojo time and we're practicing. Will we see you in the dojo? Yes or no? Let's see who's awake with that. Perfect. And in just a few moments, Sifu will be coming back. So let's make sure we bring up that energy and we are ready to empty our cup and learn.
So we are almost 2 hours and 36 minutes into tonight's class. How many of you are already feeling overwhelmed? We're at secret number 2, by the way. Yeah. We have 9 secrets tonight. We're at secret number 2. We got a little bit of a problem here. Talk about over-delivering. Over-delivering.
Sifu, while we're on that over delivery, I always find that we have to remind people, like it blows our mind. People, there are entrepreneurs around the world lining up to pay you $10,000 just to even get 1 hour with you. Barely even be able to get that. People paying $30,000 to even get, half a day with you, or even $70,000, $80,000 to get a full day with you. And I'm just thinking, it blows my mind because when we do a 6-hour class, that's more than, I think that's more than a half a day, right? Because even if they were to meet you at the office or they come in for consulting, anything like that, they just to learn from you, that's, that time. And all of you get this. So I want, maybe it's always I'm just a little bit biased here, but that's my mentor. And I want you to understand this is your mentor. There are people around the world that are dying to learn even just a fraction of what you guys get access to. So please treat class with the utmost, integrity and utmost, respect. Please be here, stay focused. You have a once in a lifetime opportunity. But again, we're not going to try to convince you. This is your life. Sifu is here 100%. We're here 100%. We're here for you. At the end of the day, how's your life working out? If it's great and everything is hunky-dory, then hey, maybe you don't need this. But if you would just like to just get a little bit better, pay attention. Empty your cup. We've got a lot to cover. Sifu, take it away.
Thank you. And we're going to cover about a little bit of difference between B2B and B2C. I saw the question there. We're going to cover that in just a little bit later in the class. So let's keep going. Secret number 3. You'll only be effective by being selective. When you are talking to an entrepreneur, when talking to an influencer, you want to be able to ask very intelligent questions, and you want to do your homework ahead of the time. So you know that Desmond has already done some of his homework in this role play ahead of time. Get to take a look at the funnel, take a look at the products, take a look at the business. Okay, because when you're talking about business, last thing you want is to get on the phone and then you don't know what you're talking about. And as a closer, you don't need a lot of account. Most cases, you have one to hit that 6-figure income. I'll say that one more time. How many business accounts do you need to hit 6-figure income? One. One. So you notice what Desmond did beautifully, brilliantly, the $8,333 to be able to hit the six-figure income. Can you see also how Desmond is representing us? He is negotiating on our behalf, right? He is talking to the business owner, hey, you know what? You want our closer to hit six-figure because you want stability. Because you want them to be successful. The more successful they are, the more successful you are as a business owner. So you could scale. Versus a lot of time, if they, and he uses this word multiple times, write this down, right? The freelance closer, the part-time closer. Well, that's fine, but that's not what we do. That's not what we do. Nothing wrong with that. If they just want a part-time closer, that's fine. But we are selective because we want to partner up. That's a keyword. Partner up with a business, with an entrepreneur that we could work with long term. I want to take them. If they're doing 1.2, I want to take them to 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, $10 million. I don't want someone to kind of outsource a little bit of the closing task to our company. I'm not interested in that. So you will only be effective by being selective. So how do you be effective? We interview them as much as they interview us. So these are very key questions. You should take a snapshot of this. You should memorize this, because when we choose business owners, we rate them on a scale 1 to 10. Remember the grading scale, 1 being not interested, 10 being very, very interested. When we're closing, no different when we are closing, when we're choosing who we want to close for, who we want to offer our skills to help. Question number 1, do they have a good reputation in the marketplace? Why is that important? Because it makes our job easier. Do they actually deliver incredible value to their clients? So if they offer you a lot of commissions, but what they're actually selling is crap, would you feel good closing for them? No. Do you think they'll keep offering this product or service for a long time, or this is only a short-term launch? Let me give you an example. Let's say an influencer, an entrepreneur, they are doing an event, and it's a one-time event. Although the event could be $4,000 or $5,000, but the problem is you only sell the event. There's a expiry date. By the time the event is finished, then you're back to zero. Or why not close for something that is ongoing, that you know that you could keep closing for many, 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 many months, if not years? Because it takes you the same amount of time, same amount of learning curve to learn the product inside and out, learn the market inside and out anyway. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a time and place. Sifu is not saying, never close for a short-term product. I think it's okay. Let's say you're closing for a business account that's got a $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 offer, okay? And this business, this entrepreneur, this company now suddenly, while you're closing for evergreen, write it down. Those are what I call evergreen products or services, right? Evergreen. So that's good. But then the same audience where this company say, I want to do a special one-time offer that is timely, that's one time only. It's going to be $8,000. Now, so you're closing for the evergreen products and services, but then there's this $8,000 one-time thing, limited, maybe it's like 50 people or so, that you could close for. So should you close for them or should you not close for them? Of course you should close for them. So this becomes an add-on. This becomes a project. This becomes a short-term, like windfall money. Take it. Take it. And chances are, do you think the people, the prospects who bought at $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, do you think there are some potential buyers there that you've talked in the past that might be interested in the one-time $8,000 offer? It's very, very simple close. So it's short-term. You know what you're doing. It is okay. Number 4, are they financially strong? This is so critical. because this affects if you get paid or not. And we've seen it. We have experienced it because we get paid based on commission. If the company is not financially strong, then because we get paid less, we close for them and we brought in some additional revenue and suddenly disappeared or they don't pay us. I've seen it again and again and again. And the way to prevent this, there's a way to prevent this, is you choose company that if they have a minimum of $1 million plus per year per revenue, right? Ideally 4 or 5 million, you're better off. You're better off. Okay? And even if it happens, let's say you're closing for some people and you've closed a few sales, you're just getting started, and you actually didn't get paid by the business account. You spend your time, your first client, first disaster, you didn't get paid. My question to you is, then now what? Are you going to give up? Are you going to say, oh, this doesn't work? It doesn't work. Or have you gained valuable experience and knowledge knowing that you could close? Instead of trying to feel bad about it, move on. We've seen it. So what? And the reality is have you actually lost any money? Let me ask you this question. Is it actually money out of your pocket? There's money you're supposed to receive, but you actually haven't lost anything. Like compared to you putting into some kind of investments or some kind of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever it is, right? There's actually money lost. No, you still gain something. Remember, there are 3 things we could get out of a conversation: a yes, a no, or a lesson. Remember that? So even the ones you closed, you didn't collect, you learn some valuable lessons, which you can then apply for future opportunities, for the right partners, for the right business accounts to earn more money. This is the beauty of high income skill. No one could take it away from you. No one could take it away from you. What you learn here in the real world, that's yours to keep. And you will only become more skillful and more valuable as you grow. So don't come from a place of scarcity. Don't come from a place of anger and say, oh, that happens. Move on. You will make way more money long term anyway. Who cares? Who cares? Same thing back then when Sifu was doing copywriting, I have a few clients who didn't pay me. So what? Where are they now? Nowhere to be found. Where am I now? It's okay. So come from a high self, come from a place of abundance. Does that make sense? You got it? Next question. Are they still growing? Are they still growing? If you were to take a guess, are they likely to be bigger 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now? Why do you want to work with a company that's growing? Tell me. Because you make more money. Longevity. Think about if a company that's growing, right now they might have 2 offers. If they keep growing the customer base, do you think in the future they might have the 3rd or 4th or 5th offer? Do you think they'll have even higher ticket offer as the business grows? Or is it possible that you're the one that suggests to them they could have a high ticket offer? And if you are the one who suggests to them to have higher ticket offer, learning from me, guess who would be first? Who would be the first one, right, to take a crack at closing those deals? Who would be the front of the line? Who would be making those money first? That would be you. So you want a business that's growing. Last, do you feel good closing for them? Why is this important? If they've got a good reputation, they deliver value to the marketplace, they're financially strong, they've got evergreen products, they're still growing, but at the end of the day, you are investing your skill, your time, your effort, producing results for somebody. I think this is the most important question of all. Do you feel good closing for them? Because if you don't feel good closing for them, It's only a matter of time you would crash and burn. You might self-sabotage. Is that possible? Have you seen it before? Have you experienced it before? So why not pick someone, select someone who could feel good closing for, that you know they're growing, and then you don't have to worry about it, that you make them successful, they help you to become more successful, we all succeed together, and then you won't crash and burn. You'll feel good about it. And when you feel good about it, guess what? You will get better because you feel good about it. Your skill will improve faster. You have more fun. Who wants to have some fun? Right? You have more fun. So those are these critical questions. Are these useful for you? So do we just take on anybody? Do we just take on anybody who's got an offer? Do we just take on anybody who needs salespeople? Hell fucking no. We are selective. I would rather not close for a bad account, right? I don't want then versus like I would not close. I don't want to invest my time closing a bad account, a bad entrepreneur. I would rather wait. Be more selective. Pick the right person. How are they generating their leads currently? Paid? Are they running ads? What about organic? Is it coming from social media? Is it coming from referrals? Is it coming from where? Right? If they're generating their leads all from organic, it means that they cannot scale. Write this down. I'm teaching you something valuable here. Okay, if they're relying on just organic traffic, they're not spending money on paid, it's not scalable. Number two, what is the marketing budget? That gives you a glimpse of how stable, how are they financially strong. If they tell you, oh, I'm looking for closers, and we've heard of this, we ask, Desmond will be asking, so what is your marketing budget? What is your marketing budget right now? Oh, well, we don't have a marketing budget. Or it's like $2,000. Oh, forget about it.
And do you guys want to know what is a decent marketing budget?
Yes, please.
Would you like me to share?
Yep, tell them.
So just do some simple math here, right? If they're even spending $300 a day, which is actually pretty decent. If they're spending $300 a day, over 30 days, how much is that? Do the math. Okay. Now, it also just doesn't depend on how much they're spending. It's how many leads are being generated. So you can see the numbers there, like 50, 75, 100. So here's a very simple ballpark figure, okay? Don't take this and get fixated on it, but you can use it as a very basic
guideline,
yeah. So I want you to think of it this way. If you're a closer, okay, the number of bookings coming in is a key number you want to find out. How many bookings are you getting? Then there's always a show-up rate. You can ask Joel this. I mean, even industry standards, 50% is pretty normal. That's why when Charlie mentioned that they were getting 60%, okay, not too bad. That's a green check mark for me. They're getting 60, and maybe we can work on that. We can make it 65. But if they're getting, let's say, 100 bookings in a week, and 50% are showing up, that means there's only 50 bookings. Well, 50 bookings divided by 5 is 10 calls per day, right? 5 days a week, 10 calls per day. So then in your head, can one closer handle that? Can you handle that? Right? Can you sustain 10 calls a day? So ballpark figure in general, what I like to hear from a business owner is that they have consistent, I'm looking for consistency, at least 25 to 50 bookings per week per closer. So if we're going to set up a team with one leader and 2 closers, I want to hear at least 50, maybe 75 bookings coming in. Does that make sense?
Full pipeline.
Yeah.
Now, Desmond sharing something very valuable. This is all coming from experience. By the time you're talking to a business owner, you are writing all this down. You should be able to do a quick math in your mind. Okay, exactly what do we need here? Can I handle it? Like this is how many can see this is some pretty valuable information here, right? Very valuable insights. This is real world. This is as real as it gets, right? How business works.
And we know that it's never going to be perfect. But what you're doing and you're demonstrating to the business owner is that you know your numbers.
Yep.
Is that you know the business.
Yep.
And that you know how you want to help them scale the business. If you can demonstrate that, then they feel that trust that you're a person that they can trust to run their marketing, run their sales, right? Or at least introduce the sales team. If you're doing these introductions and you're sort of what we call, maybe initially doing SDR or, breacher type work where you're basically, getting to know the business owner, and maybe you plan to introduce them to closer.com and get the referral. Now you're gathering the very important intelligence. Then what it does is it pre-frames it for us. When we go in there, we close the deal, then you've already gathered all that information. So then I'm able to speak to the business owner based on the information you've gathered. So we'll cover more of that a little bit later, but just know that these are some of the guidelines, okay?
Yes. And who is currently handling their sales? Remember the role play that Desmond and Joe just did. Did you hear the question Desmond asked? So who is handling your sales right now? So they might have a sales guy. They might have a sales person. They might have a sales manager. Is it useful to know? Because if they have a sales manager, chances are you guys might have a conflict of interest, right? You may be competing with that guy, right? Or we have seen where an entrepreneur actually wants to hire us, and he's got multiple divisions. He wants to fire all the existing ones and just have the whole division move to us, because all those guys are not performing the way that they want, right? And they are getting a too big of a base. So for them, it's like I would definitely pay us the commission that we want if they can save all of their overhead. That's where the blue ocean is. This is where Seafood's vision is. All these companies out there, the old model where this is like taxi and Uber, right? You see how inefficiency taxi is. You got to get a license. You got to pay for this and this and this and this. All these overheads, all this inefficiency. Uber comes in and says, you don't need any of that stuff. Anybody can be an Uber driver, right? It is very efficient. We have a huge network. The same idea. This is what we're doing, right? So that's Seafood's business model. I train so that I could have the talent to be able to work and partner with companies. Does that make sense? And that's how it is. Is it inbound? Is it outbound? Is it cold calling? Right? If they say to you, oh yeah, we do all the cold calling now, we don't have any inbound, chances are they don't have their marketing together, right? And we don't mind doing some outbound. We'll get into it in just a little bit. But I need to know that they have a little bit of both.
And even on that one too, Sifu, whenever I pre-frame with a client, because we are training, we do have closers that can do the outbound, but I always lead by saying, the inbound first, like you said, because it shows more about their sophistication, their marketing first. If they're 100% depending on us to do all the outbound, that's a bit of a red flag.
That to me is a big red flag because it means that they are expecting us to be miracle workers.
Yes.
Write this down. We don't want to be, we are closers. We're not miracle workers. And remember, you notice how Desmond under promise, right? He's like, you know what? What if we only get 20%? It's going to take 90 days to ramp up. We are not promising. You hire us 30 days, we're going to outperform what you do. No. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Even if we could, don't say that. Isn't it better to under promise and then we go in and we just like knock the socks off? Now they're happy. Set yourself up not for failure, but for success. Don't overpromise. How many leads are they getting, right? What about in terms of the price, right? Is it $2,500? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000, $20,000? All that makes a difference. Okay, just when you're talking to business owner, by the way, how will you notice? Desmond, probably in terms of 3 levels of paying, which level are we at during that role play? Yes, that's correct. Level 2. Level 2 personal. What's the personal pain? Tell me, what's the personal pain? That's right, time. Time is the issue, right, for Charlie. So time is the issue. So do we always have to dig deep as level 3 to close a sale? No. So don't feel like, oh, we role play, we have to get to level 3. It's not about getting to level 3. It's about closing the damn deal. If you need to get to level 3 to close the damn deal, Okay. If you can get to level 1, you can close a deal. You could do level 0 and close a deal. Sifu, it's us happy. Give you a round of applause. Okay, it's not a competition. We don't have level 3 paying award at Closers in Black. We have 100K award, we have 6-figure, we have 7-figure. We don't have an award for Sifu, I did so many calls, I got to level 3 paying. How many have you closed? Results. Okay, no level 3 paying. Okay, we don't care. It is simply a mean to an end. It's a tool, right? It's simply a tool, a technique that we know that sometimes we need to go that deep, to close the sale. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes level 1, perfectly fine. We talk business to business, we close the deal. That's okay. Now, not every call needs to have the prospect like depressed and crying and all of that. It's not necessary. Okay? Sometimes it is. Most of the time, you don't need to. You got it? So let's take boxing, for example. This is Mike Tyson signing a glove for Sifu. You can see the name and a few money. So if you were doing boxing, you do not want to fight Mike Tyson at his prime. Okay? That is called suicide. That's called getting your teeth knocked out. That is a dumb idea. Okay? So when we are choosing that influencer, that business account, because I could see the whole damn savior syndrome. Write this down. Some of you guys have savior syndrome. Oh, I know his product is not that good. I know his price point is not that high. I know he doesn't have enough leads coming in, but I am here to save the day with my high ticket closing skill. I could make it work. I could turn it around, right? I can close those sales nobody could close. That is like fighting Mike Tyson. That's called being an idiot. We don't want that. If we're gonna do boxing, we don't want to fight Mike Tyson. Here's what you want to do. You want to get in the ring. You want an 11-year-old kid who's never boxed before that you can have kind of like. Now, by the way, don't go out there and punching kids. It's not exactly. It's a metaphor. Okay, protect the kids. But if you're gonna do boxing, you want to kind of do a little push, and the kid will fall down and just cry. You win. This is what you want. We are not looking for a challenge. I'm going to say that one more time because you will forget about it. I know you'll forget it. Then you go out there and be a savior, okay? We are not looking for a challenge. I'll say that one more time. We are not looking for a challenge. We want a solid business account that meets all those criteria. This is a lot like dating. Ladies, we are not looking to date that, like it's like the criteria. First question, do you have a job? Do you have a high income skill? No, move on. Next. We are not looking for that guy that we could save. Yeah, I know he's a fucking loser. I know he hasn't worked for 3 years, but he would change for me. I'm going to turn him around. I'm going to make him a good man. No. No, no, no. I want him to be a good man to start off with. We are not in the business of turning losers into winners. We are in the business of helping winners win more. If you're single, you are not in the business of turning losers into winners. You are in the business of finding that winner and help them win more. You will waste so much time trying to save and turn around because you are optimistic. Most of my students are optimistic. And you want to turn it around. You want to help. I'm not saying we don't help. We just want to help winners. It would drive you crazy and you would waste so much time. I've seen it again and again. This is Sifu speaking from experience. Don't do it. Don't fight Mike Tyson. Just don't. You will hurt yourself emotionally, financially. Just don't. And I know I say it here. I know I say it like a broken record. Some of you would still go fucking do it. Oh, but Sifu, there's always a but this person is my friend. This person has got a very unique product. But this person is, you're gonna give me all the reasons why this is like, yeah, he's kind of a loser. I know he drinks a lot and he parties, but he's not that bad. He's a nice guy. Fuck him. He's not. Move on. He's a fucking alcoholic who's a fucking bum. That's who he is. Don't date him. Pick someone better. You deserve better. Just move on. So choose. You will only be effective by the way, it goes not just lady, gentlemen. Some of you guys would date someone that you want to turn around, save. You have that syndrome too. Not just, both goes man and woman, by the way. She's not that bad. No. And don't think that your romantic life, relationship doesn't affect your closing career. You bet it does. Goes hand in hand. Goes hand in hand. You got to be selective. Nothing worse than having a partner that doesn't support you. Nothing worse than having a partner who doesn't understand you. Nothing worse than having a toxic, negative BMW partner who drags you down like a crab in a bucket. That would destroy you, that would slow you down faster than anything else. Everything you do, 1 step forward, 3 steps backward. Having the right partner, on the other hand, you would accelerate. You would accelerate. That partner would propel you, support you, accelerate 1,000%. So write this down. Here's the formula. Your high ticket closing skill plus a solid business owner. This is the formula. This is the 6-figure formula. Write this down. I'm giving it to you. Plus superior marketing plus irresistible high ticket offer equals a solid 6-figure income. So I see we're giving you the criteria for finding that, selecting that, interviewing that solid business owner. Yes or no? Those questions I've given you just a few minutes ago. That's how you know. Superior marketing. Look at the marketing. Look at the funnels. Irresistible high ticket offer, meaning that they are charging whatever they're charging compared to the value they deliver. It is a no-brainer. They're selling the program for 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, maybe a service, but they're delivering 2, 3, 4, 5 times the value. It's a no-brainer. It's irresistible. It is an offer they can't refuse. You want to make them an offer they can't refuse? Do you understand? Do you understand? Right? So you look at this equation here. Think about 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. That makes up to the 100% of the formula. What percentage is your closing skill? That's right, 25%. Even though you're absolutely perfect as a closer, which none of us are, it's only 25% of the equation. So do you see how it's idiotic? It is arrogant to think that we want to affect 100% of the equation, the outcome, we only have 25% of the control. Think about it. Your closing skill, 25%, 25 out of 25. Do the math here. But you're working with a lousy business owner with horrible marketing, with a non-compelling offer. How well are you going to close? How many sales are you going to make? Not so good now, is it? What if just you work with you have, again, 25 out of 25, your closing skill, you're working with a business owner. That's pretty good. But like good person, but the marketing sucks. And they've got a lousy offer. How much money are you going to make? Even if you make money, is that going to be a struggle? Are we making it tougher than it should be? Now, let's look at the other way. Let's say your closing skill is not 25 out of 25. Let's say it's not even half good. It's 10 out of 25. Emerald would like this. Emerald, can you do the math for Sifu? 10 out of 25. But business owner, 25 out of 25. Marketing, 25 out of 25. Offer, 25 out of 25. Yours is only 10 out of 25. What is the percentage overall out of 100? 85%. Is that a pretty good ratio? Is that a pretty good probability of success? Do you see what he was talking about? Do you see how important this is? So how many solid business accounts do we need to hit six figure? How many? One. Do we need to be selective? You bet. Every battle is won before it is fought. Sun Tzu. We know, using that criteria that I've given you, if they are good, you've already won. Even though you're not that good as a closer, you will still make a ton of money. Who likes that kind of art? Like, you're not that good, but doesn't mean you won't get good. I'm saying you don't need to be that good to start off with. You will get better as you go. If there's a good business owner, they've got solid lead flow after dozens, hundreds of calls, are you going to get better? Are you going to improve? Are you going to close better? Are you going to have better closing ratio? Of course you will. But in the meantime, you don't need to wait to be good to make money. This is earning while you learn. This is not the school 4-year bullshit that you don't earn shit and get into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and hopefully, with luck, you can earn a measly buck. This is, you are earning while you're learning right now. You are getting paid by the business owner, training you, getting good, and making money day one. Day one. Every battle is won before it's ever fought, because the brilliance. Can you see the brilliance of the model? Because the model is so superior. The market that Sifu had chosen to offer our service. I've done all the heavy lifting for you. Can you see how Sifu's done all the heavy lifting? I've done all the heavy lifting, all the hard thinking for you already. You just need to follow the system. I need you to trust the system and follow the steps and apply yourself. And you will see results. And you see results every day in the Facebook group anyway, yes? It works. If you work the system, it works. You can't be wishy-washy about it. I guess maybe. If that's the attitude, forget about it. So he's done all the work. I've paved the way. And it is something that won't go away. Most industries, most companies will be disrupted by technology, artificial intelligence, all these advancements. Most those jobs will be gone. And I mean gone. Not we'll see what happens. No, they're gone. They won't exist anymore. Millions and millions and millions of people will lose their jobs, and there will no skill sets to back them up. You don't need a crystal ball to know that is coming. You pay a little bit of attention, you know that is what's happening. But no one could ever take away the human connection. No one could take away the art and science of communication. In fact, more technology, more AI, they're better for us. Do you know why it's better for us? Do you know why it's even more advantageous to us? Oh, you may not know the answer. That's interesting. Would you like to know why? Think about the kids that are growing up now, millennial, the new generation. Do you think they are better communicator or worse communicators compared to the past? Because they're on devices. Do you think they're very comfortable talking one-on-one to people, presenting? Way, way worse. It means that this whole new generation of people, they can't fucking communicate. They can't talk. Which is great. Supply and demand. They can type, they can talk. This is awesome. I got copywriting, I got closing. Life is good. I got no competition. You got no competition. It is fantastic. For those who have kids, if they're old enough, you put them through HTC at a young age. Oh my fucking God. It's like a knife through like hot butter. Like they have no competition. Like they would kick everyone's ass in their career. It doesn't matter what career. It doesn't matter they have to be a closer. It doesn't matter. Because they would be able to articulate the ideas. They would speak with confidence and conviction. Everybody else is fucking on the little phone and like finger fucking the fucking thing. They can't talk. They can't think because the devices are making them dumber. This is great. This is great. So celebrate that. You have an edge. Forget talking. We are way beyond than just talking. We are talking about asking questions with finesse, reverse psychology, grading system, understand the jam personality type, be able to dig deep, level 3 pain. Are you kidding me? Do you think they even know like a tiny percentage of what you know? Nothing. They don't even have the basic understanding of like human interaction because they don't interact anymore. When was the last time they called someone? Text. They can't fuck. You see kids at the fucking table. They're texting each other. Right at the table. They don't talk. They just text. Oh, yeah, I'll text you. I'm here. Ask me the fucking question. No, they text. It is great. It is the best of time. Some of you guys will be wealthy beyond imagination if you apply what I teach. This is the best of time. So I'm not afraid of AI. I love AI. Please. And the more and more so people when they wake up and realize they're in a matrix, more people will be looking to develop skills, which then will actually expand our family massively, expand our community massively, which is great. There's so many opportunities. Even AI software needs someone. We'll go into that. B2B needs someone to close those software sale. Yeah? How come the AI can't fucking sell it? How come we need a closing team to sell the software? Hello? Right? They need us. They need a lot of us. Machine can't do that. Machine can do a lot of things, but not that. Do you see why you should be excited? Why you should be grateful that you're here? At least you're getting a chance. People are not here, not in HTC, not my student. Most people don't stand a chance. Mark my word. Look at your family members, your friends, your relatives. Let's see where they are 5 years from now. Mark it today. Let's see where they are 5 years from now. Let's say if they still have that cushion job, that saves the comfy career. Let's see if 5 years from now, let's see where they're at. Let's see where you are at. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. Maybe less than 5 years. So, very important insights. You want to choose independent business owners or influencers. Now, we're talking the beginner level. This is beginner level. These are not who Sifu wants, but it could be get your foot in the door approach. Why independent? Because they can make the decisions on their own. Maybe you have one business partner, that's it. They can make the decision quickly. Choose someone who has a high ticket program, $2,500 minimum, up to $50,000, maybe $60,000 or more. Choose someone who has a marketing budget. We talked about that. Choose a business owner that has a decent marketing funnel in place. When we say decent, it means it is converting, not trying to figure it out. If they still need to try to figure it out, ask them to figure it out before they call you back. It's not your job. It's not your job to try to figure it out with them. It is not your job to try to figure this shit out with them. You are wasting time. I have seen some of my best closers waited months, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, waiting for the business owner to get their funnel together. My God, it is a bad idea. You should be closing while you're waiting. You're closing for somebody else, and you tell this particular business owner, you know what, that's cool. You work with a marketing agency. You work with someone who knows marketing, a funnel builder. Build all that, get it going. When it's running and getting leads, call me back. In the meantime, you're not wasting. The only reason you're waiting because you are desperate. You're like, oh my God, I can't lose this business owner. There's so many business owners out there. Move on. Move on. Choose a business partner that has a good reputation. Usually, if they have some team members, could be anywhere from 5 to 50. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Boom. Who's going to read this one?
All right. Adam Nasur. Yes, I closed a $45K deal She will send a commitment today and go to the bank to get the rest of the money. Boom.
Boom. 45K. $45,000. One phone call. One phone call. Secret number 4. Freedom follows structure. Say it with me. Freedom follows structure. Sometimes people think, oh, if we have structure, that means, oh, we are restricted. That means we can't do whatever we want. That means, no, it's the other way around. Structure removes the need to think about things. It removes the need to take up a lot of your mental bandwidth so that you could express your freedom without thinking about it. Exactly like martial art. You look at any martial art, do you just go into the dojo and say, okay, he's heavy bag, kick whatever you want, punch whatever you want, do whatever the hell you want? Well, how are you going to be a good martial artist? No. What did they teach you? Every single style in the world, right? In the very beginning, they would say, okay, you got to learn the stance. You need to learn the basic position. You need to learn the footwork. You need to learn how to punch structurally, right? Here's how you hold your fist, right? Here's how you hold your arm. You learn basic boxing. You got to learn how to jab, cross, hook, uppercut. How to have hands up to protect your face. Are those things structure? Yes or no? Once you learn the structure, then once you get good, it becomes unconscious competence, now you can express yourself. Now you can express yourself freely. So freedom follows structure. Structure gives you more freedom, not the other way around. So with Desmond, Sifu has demonstrated when it comes to B2B closing what that sounds like. Now and I promised you a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to share with you our internal sales team structure. This is confidential. This is not shared to the public. In fact, the pitch deck that you saw is also not shared to the public. So promise me, this is what we do. Don't be going around and telling people this is what we do. This is our edge. Okay? Because you don't know who you're talking to, and this might leak out to our competition. You don't want that, right? We don't want that. So what happens in XTC stays in XTC. Like, see if we trust you enough, you're my student, and say, I'm sharing with you our structure. And it took us many, many revisions to get to this point. So when you join XTC, what you're coming in through XTC, you are learning, write this down, B2C, business to consumer, inbound closing. That's what XTC is about at the beginner level. That's what you're learning, right? How do you deal with inbound call? How do you sell business to consumer, right? That's what you've been learning for the last 5-6 weeks, yes? That's what you've been role-playing, okay? But as a scale team, what we do is completely at a different level. So Joe, why don't you explain a little bit about what this is?
Happy to share, Sifu. Thank you. So we will talk about what a SWAT team and what a sniper team is on the next couple of slides. But first, I want to kind of align you to some words on the screen, right? So we have, you can see on the top left, we have the breachers. Under it, if you see outbound lead gen. On the bottom left, you see marksman. You can see it says qualify inbound leads, right? In the center, you see something called sharpshooters. You can say it says close deals all day, every day. And the far right, you see strikers, nurture qualified leads. And by the way, Sifu is absolutely right. We've gone through so many revisions to even get to this piece. And just to give you a heads up, this is just a ground level, like in the trenches view of the current team. What you don't see now is you don't see the team leaders, you don't see the team coaches, and you don't see the sales managers. So this is just the lowest level in the trenches right now, which is great because this is where the closers are closing. But there is a whole nother levels above, which helps and aids the success of the team.
Let me just explain a little bit about this, because looking at this, Sifu is a simple graph. What's so profound about this? What's profound about this? This is the exact structure that a lot of the bigger companies, like say Salesforce, they use to scale to 100 million and up with a sales team. This is a fucking $100 million sales team structure. That's why it's profound. So let me explain. So what you're learning, if you're doing inbound B2C closing, you are a sharp